Yeah. If you're talking, you're muted. I can't hear you.
Oh, is it Beth?
There you go. Yep. Oh, who is doing this part?
I believe it's Beth. That's what I
Oh,
thought.
yeah.
Oh, I had you as the Kim, but okay. So we're leading into when ethics are not followed and the precautionary tales. And so this screen is what are common ethical boundary issues that all of us know about, hear about, hopefully don't do. But the first one is backdating a form in a client's chart. We're supposed to be signing things on the day that we sign them. The other is falsifying documentation on sessions, on start end time. Providing services without a treatment plan. So we always need to be making sure that the goals and our interventions align with what we're billing and how we're coding things. Next, providing services before we obtain an informed consent. So thankfully we work in an agency where we have a very strong development team and intake team that is always checking us to make sure that we have our signatures on informed consents and that those are legal. Right. Again, thank God we have NPs and therapists who are really putting all that detail in their assessments to document why we're diagnosing people with the conditions they have. But we've all worked in places where it doesn't necessarily always make sense. Adjustment disorders. These are time-limited disorders, and ethically, we should only be billing for services up to 6 months unless we have a new documentation that says that it's a continuation of adjustment due to other additional stressors. Keeping incomplete or inaccurate client records. So not documenting your billable, non-billable, your interventions, and not doing your notes with the content of the session. So those are some of the common ones that we have seen or know about. So we did a little deep dive because we like to also link this to reality, and both the nurses board and the social work counselor and MFT board do post and document discipline, and these are linked to our licenses. And so these are the search items, and the next slide will break it down to you for the social work board and counselor. No, I'm sorry. So on the social work board and counselor website, there are some resources that we want to make sure to point out because they have a lot of guidance on 3 areas that social workers, counselors, and marriage and family therapists need the most assistance with. One is how to or how not to authorize emotional support animals. So they have a great video and web resources for us. The second one is mandating reporting on animal abuse, which is now a code in our ethics that we have to also report when families are abusing animals. And then the final one is the treatment around how sexual orientation and treatment interventions should be. So we're just encouraging you to, if you're on that board, to go out and look at those guidance. This is the slide I thought was next. So we did a deeper dive, and in 2024, publicly, there were a total of 50 discipline licensed individuals under the Counselor Social Work and MFT board. Most of those cases are in progress, but they did result in about a fourth of them revoking or losing their license permanently. But others are under agreement, and it typically is that they have to do ongoing supervision, get more training. I also linked it to license type. You can't see that very well, but you can see that, for the biggest people being disciplined are the dependent people, and also tends to be LSWs, because that represents a large part. In the LSW world, you can have a BA. There's a lot of LSWs that do have MAs, master's degrees, but so you wonder if they're getting the quality supervision and guidance that they need to prevent ethical disciplinary actions. That's me.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Toll. I'm the State Director of Nursing on the IDD side. So I'm going to go over the disciplinary actions for the nurses. Based on the Ohio Board of Nursing from the year of 2024, on their annual report, there was processed 7,183 complaints of disciplinary actions in 2024. That is a overview of all of them, even though most of them are brought down under the ethics umbrella. Let me go to the next slide. Thank you. So the Ohio Board of Nursing investigates any violations against the Nurse Practice Act and administration rules. They typically fall under the categories of drug-related issues, boundary violations, fraud, abuse or neglect of a patient, or professional misconduct. For the details and statistics of the disciplinary actions, you can get that on the Ohio Board of Nursing. It's a public record. So the recent Board of Action website contains a list of recent actions, and it's also available with a downloaded PDF or Excel spreadsheet. And then for the report of last year, the governor's office in January 2025 submitted it, and it contains the detailed information about the board's activities of the fiscal year and any including enforcement statistics. You can also file a complaint or ask any questions by emailing the Ohio Board of Nursing, and it's at complaints@nursing.ohio.gov. We do report like any ethical problems or anything that we find that's questionable for nurses, and then the board will decide if they need to do the disciplinary actions or not. So back in 2024, there was a new rule that went into effect on February 1st. It's expanded the types of offenses that license must self-report within 30 days. It includes felonies, drug law violations, and contain misdemeanors with a substantial link to a practice of nursing. The rule may change the increased amount of reports being submitted to the board. And hopefully eventually they'll break it down like ethical versus non-ethical type stuff. But if we self-report, they tend to go a little bit more lenient on us than somebody else reporting it to them on us. So the discipline, sanctions, and unprofessional conduct, the Ohio Revised Code is sanctions for fraud, misrepresentation, deception, and obtaining a license. Also sanctions for other violations, which is they could be denied their license can be revoked, suspended, or they can have restrictions. There are some nurses out there who's had like drug or alcohol related type substance abuse, and they still have their license, but their restrictions are that they can't have like controlled substance or be around controlled substance or be involved with alcohol withdrawal type patients. So it'll detail what they can and cannot do. So the Ohio Board of Nursing disciplinary authorities, they take all the complaints, they investigate it, and under the injunction chapter 119, they get the consent for agreements to obtain any information and the findings and orders, and they actually give out the disciplinary action. So violations is under the unprofessional conduct. It's under Ohio Revised Code and the Ohio Board of Nursing Rules. It's violating ethics or professional rules and can lead to a disciplinary action. Again, that could be that you're having your license denied, revoked, suspended, or restricted. And you can also get fines. So nursing, if we don't renew our license on time, we can actually be fined for it. So rules of impairment, substance use, and mental health, impaired practice. It's what rules in nursing regulating context. So nurses must avoid practicing with objective or competencies impaired. We should not be under the influence of any illicit drugs, even prescribed medications. If we are not of sound mind, we should be pulling ourselves back and not making any decisions or be acting on any orders because we are not mentally there to be able to do that. And if they are doing that, that's what can be reported to the ethics board. Any questions? That was a lot at once.
All right, so we're going to move into our next section, which is with Denise.
Hi, everyone. My name's Denise J. I'm one of the state clinical directors of LTC TBS Therapy, and I'm over Central and Northwest. Ethical violations can happen when a licensee does not know their code of ethics, a licensee may be impaired and therefore making unethical decisions. A licensee may think they are helping a client when they are, in fact, practicing outside their scope or crossing a professional boundary, or overestimating clinical abilities and foregoing supervision. Unethical behavior, judgment going unchecked. Okay, ready for the next slide. Ethical violations can happen when a licensed professional frequently cancels supervision with both their supervisee as well with their own supervisor, are not reviewing their supervisee's documentation for medical necessity. A course of action is unclear, such as when two or more ethical principles conflict with one another's. So some examples of this is a client states they have been having intense anger towards a peer and have thought about hurting them badly. The client later insists they are just venting and would really not hurt this person. Ethical conflict. The principle of confidentiality requires the professional to protect the client's privacy and maintain trust of the therapeutic relationship. And the conflicting principle is the principle of maleficence, do no harm, and the duty, maleficence, I do it, do no harm, and the duty to protect others from serious harm, requiring harm, and this requires the professional to take action when there's a credible threat of violence. Ethical decision-making models provide helpful guidance in such scenarios. Common actions that violate professional ethics and lead to disciplinary action, including the revocation of license, include some of these listed: falsifying documents for record keeping, sexual relationships with clients, disclosing confidential information, financial fraud, felony convictions, lying about continuing education courses, gross negligence in providing services, unethically terminating service to the client, failing to document services properly, gifts, borrowing, lending, HIPAA violations, inappropriate relationships, poor boundaries. These are just some of the common boundaries that we have some examples of some of the common boundary issues we have. For whatever reason, I cannot read that. Oh, being friends on social media, engaging in relationships with clients or former clients outside of work, sharing inappropriate details of our personal life with clients, such as details regarding our personal sexual life. Sharing client details in public spaces where they can be overheard by others. Disclosing client personal information in front of another client, a roommate, without a signed ROI. Gifting something to one client and not others. And these are all actual examples that have come up here at ViaQuest. We're going to move on to a video.
Say it. I deserve it. I deserve it. Again. I deserve it. Feels good, doesn't it?
Shrink Next Door tells the story of a very codependent relationship that spans 27 years.
Marty Markowitz and his sister Phyllis, they've just lost their parents. He's very vulnerable and feels that the walls are caving in on him.
Marty, what are you doing? Seeing how much stress her big brother was under, Phyllis recommended a therapist, Ike.
At first, Dr. Ike is everything you would hope a therapist would be. A great listener, really helps him solve problems.
The thing about obstacles, they're either stumbling blocks or stepping stones.
They're kind of having an identity crisis. Ike is feeling a lack of fulfillment with being a therapist, and Marty is really ill-equipped to deal with the obstacles that are being thrown his way.
You okay, puppy? Yeah. Having one of my panic attacks. It'll pass.
Ike helped him enormously at the beginning. Then that relationship morphed into something unhealthy.
Welcome! Dr. Ike starts to manipulate him. He takes over Marty's Hamptons house.
What's the big deal if they think it's my place? I mean, who cares whose place it is? I agree.
This doctor seems a little unconventional, huh?
But the thing is, he cares so much.
It starts to get further away from what's acceptable.
You know, sometimes I feel like I'm working on you, but I don't think you're working on you. I promise, I'll work harder.
Marty doesn't realize how bad it is. He's just thankful that this therapist is in his corner.
I don't trust him.
He's trying to help me. Phyllis was toxic. You did the right thing by cutting her out of your life.
By separating him from Phyllis, Marty and Ike really become so intertwined, which is the heart of the story.
You are growing, Marty! I mean, this is all because of you. You should be proud of yourself. I'm proud of you.
I wanted the audience to feel sort of seduced and charmed by Ike, just as Marty is.
Everything's gonna be all right. I'm not gonna let anyone use you.
It's heartbreaking. You go into it thinking, well, that would never happen to me. I'd be impervious to the journey that this guy went on.
When you're in it, you just think differently. It's very easy to believe what we want to believe.
You know I'm doing this for you.
Anyone at any moment feeling vulnerable could go down this road.
Trust is at the very core of who I am. I do trust you.
Okay, so we are going to watch another video now that you have a kind of gist of the scenario here. I want you to think of a second, if you want to have a pen and paper or put it in the chat. How many ethical concerns are you identifying based on what we've learned so far in our training? So this is also a quick video, but we're going to take 2 seconds literally just to kind of talk about ethical concerns, and we'll come back.
Olive Garden's never-ending pasta bowl is back. So first round, get a favorite.
Are you Marty? Yeah. What brings you here?
I don't know. Phyllis made me come.
My sister. She must be very persuasive. Well, tell me about yourself. I run a fabrics company. So you're the boss. That feel good?
It feels... Phyllis has always been the strong one.
You're a grown man hiding behind a wall of curtains.
I think I can help you. The first thing I'm going to do is completely unethical. I'm going to give you a hug. No, I'm a hugger.
There's no shame in feeling pain, Marty.
Be the ruler of your own domain.
Work begins at 9 a.m. sharp.
Phyllis! I'm trying to be ruler of my own domain.
This therapy is really working out, huh?
It is. It really is.
The goal of life is to live. Will turn you into the man you truly deserve to be.
This doctor's a little unconventional.
He's a miracle worker.
What is he doing here?
Helping us. What do you think?
So much fun.
Is that allowed?
Well, I did the work, didn't I? He's changed my life. He's changed me.
You clearly have a good eye.
Me? You're the one with the good eye. Eyes. 2 eyes. The appropriate quota of ocular spheres.
Why are we running? I don't know. Run! You are growing, Marty!
Is he your psychiatrist?
Psychiatrist, business partner, best friend.
How does all of that work? He just has no boundaries, and I don't trust him.
Cut her out of your life.
She's the only family I have.
Without trust, we have nothing.
I trust you completely. This is my decision.
He's living in your head.
I am going to take care of everything. Feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know about all you, but I think I'm going to have to stream that movie. So, in the case, in this particular case, Ike is the psychiatrist acting as a therapist and provided what he termed therapy to his client, Marty Markowitz, starting in 1981. Marty sought treatment due to feeling overrun with responsibilities, experiencing panic attacks, grieving and the loss of his parents, and having interfamily issues over control of his family's fabrics company. Are we doing this video as well on the next slide? Or is that on there twice?
While we're playing this movie, this quick clip, please use the chat. I thank you so much for 2 people already putting in the chat. What are some ethical concerns that you saw? And we're going to hear from a psychiatrist point of view real quick. So please.
My question for Source is about relationships and abundance. How can I tell whether I'm truly being tested?
Lenovo marks 20 years at home in the Triangle, supporting STEM, small business, and a future.
Now moving to my final thoughts in this case. This case was really about crossing boundaries. It is unreasonable to expect clients to know when boundaries are being crossed by clinicians because many clients come to treatment to get help in that area, to get help establishing and managing boundaries. When a clinician crosses boundaries, they are attacking the client where the client is the weakest. Some people are of the mindset that Marty Markowitz really should have known better. Yes, Ike was responsible for the most part, but who lets a clinician control them for 29 years? I think this really speaks to the power of trust, the power of believing someone is acting in your best interest, the power of perceived friendship. It was only when Marty realized that Ike was not his friend that Marty cut Ike off. There should have never been the expectation of friendship in the first place. I think Ike was able to set the expectation early in the relationship. Marty saw some improvements. He felt as though Ike was helping him. He was getting better, so he didn't question Ike's methods. When Ike encouraged Marty to distance himself from other people, he denied Marty the opportunity to gain other perspectives about what was happening in that therapeutic relationship. Over the course of 29 years, Marty may have believed the relationship was normal and necessary. His beliefs had been shaped by a clinician turned manipulator. Those are my thoughts on the case of Marty Markowitz. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue.
Thank you so much I love seeing your guys' comments in the chat. Keep it going.
So let's talk a minute about some of the things that contributed to this manipulation and what we can learn from it. So several of the things thank you for putting in the chat, power dynamics, mental and emotional, psychological abuse. That's absolutely. Also, the psychiatrists are not trained in therapy as other aspects of the profession, and in this case was practicing outside of scope, was not receiving supervision or very limited supervision, isolated from peers. Impaired practice, this is a speculation. Ethical violations start out with less frequency, intensity, and increase, and may have been helping with the good intent in the beginning of treatment, hug, see, and find outside of the office. Earn trust by helping and beginning a friend. And this is the slippery slope that we often talk about, that it very quickly, what can seem benign can turn into a huge ethical violation.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move it over to Kim, talking about ethics in action and defining some of our ethics.
Yeah, so if you remember when we first started out the training, I was defining ethics and morals and values as being things, but they're also actions. They're what we do in our everyday interactions with our clients, or what we do in our everyday work. So how do we know that we're working with ethics? How do we know that we're staying true to our profession's values and morals? A lot of times it can come by what our clients say. I think it was Amber was one of the people that mentioned that their client is still reaching out and saying that they valued the time that they spent together. So just kind of quickly, I may not have time to read all of these slides, but the next several slides are pretty much quotations directly from our clients that came from the 2024 VPBS Client Satisfaction Survey. And we'll go through a couple of them, but I do encourage you to read all of them if you get a chance to kind of see what it looks like when we are practicing ethically, when we are using those ethical principles that we learned about earlier today. So just on the slide that you see in front of you, some clients said about their providers that this person visits weekly. I trust them more than anyone else. We have a set appointment every Tuesday. Their provider always keeps their promises. I trust them now, even though it was hard at first. So just to me, when I was looking at some of those comments, I felt like that was speaking to the principles of being true to our clients, our fidelity, and also acting with integrity, kind of doing what you say you're going to do, showing up when you say you're going to show up. So I think that's how it looks to our clients when we are practicing ethically and are in line with our ethics. I'll do a couple more here, maybe on the next slide. Some more comments from clients about working with their provider, that sometimes you can be too positive, but I think that I need that kind of reflecting that the clinician has their best interests in mind. Whatever we're doing is for me, and I feel so great when I see you. You make me feel important. You talk to me and make me feel comfortable. So again, I think it shows acts of service to our client, that we are focusing just on them. That idea of beneficence, that we're doing things with good intentions and what is best for the client. And again, acting with veracity or being true to our ethical principles. So there's a couple more slides of just more comments that clients have made, that their provider is consistent and helpful. It's noticeable in their work that they can see that the professional is dedicated to their job. So again, to me, that shows that these providers are showing the importance of human relationships, again, acting with integrity, doing what's right, in acting with non-maleficence, so doing only good to our clients. A couple more that show autonomy, dignity, worth of the person, beneficence. He listens to me and doesn't judge me. He won't tell me what to do, but he helps me figure out what I want to do. Is caring and supportive, does not judge me. This person notices their provider is not pushy. They help guide me and they understand what's asked of me, and I am comfortable answering the question. So again, just more support of the client being autonomous and showing dignity for the client. Our competence can also be seen in how our clients perceive us, saying things like, this provider is punctual and articulate, doing a good job. Things are being addressed professionally and with expertise. even within only one counseling session, this client said, so far, I'm looking forward to where we are going to go in the next therapy session. They appreciate ViaQuest and is very pleased with all of our services. Being professional and being respectful, again, showing our competence in our job. A couple other ones. They help me and my wife get along better when we're upset. Glad to find somebody I can talk to. So again, showing the value of our clients and showing the value of human relationships. A couple more. These, again, come from the client satisfaction survey. So this is from their perspective that may be showing some areas where we could improve. So some quotations are discontent with canceling appointments without communication. I don't know what day or time my professional is coming. I would like more check-ins. I don't know what my goals are. I would like to know goals. And I feel like my services are a repeat of everything I have been through, and I have been through a lot. So especially that last one, to me, shows that even with the best of intentions, even with our best foot forward, we could be doing unintentional harm to our clients. Again, the last comment there says, is a repeat of everything I've been through, and I have been through a lot. So again, there's always room for improvement, but yes, I see in the comments, we do have great staff. We're all doing great work, but also there is room to improve and room to grow, which is, I think, why we have these types of trainings and, are encouraged to meet with supervisors to see what we could be doing better. So our clients see us. They definitely see evidence of ethics and how we interact with them, for sure. Okay. I think, Gabby, are you up next? Or is it still me?
It's still you, but we're going to skip this based off of time. So we'll just skip this because we're running that low on time. So we'll skip this activity for now. Okay. We're just going to move forward, and for the last 15 minutes of our training here, we're going to talk about technology. The more, if you're not aware, technology and social media and all that stuff is here. It's here to stay. The more advanced that we are, the more that we need to be mindful of how we're utilizing technology. And so we're going to talk about PHI and how we are having to protect our clients' information while we're providing services. And so this is also a little tidbit. This is very important for me as the compliance officer. That everybody's part of the compliance program, and it is our ethical duty, regardless of your license, to ensure that you're protecting clients' information. It is actually a federal regulation for all services, regardless of the type of service you provide, that you are protecting client information. So we're going to take 2 seconds going over what is considered PHI and the different types of PHI. So if you've been in one of my trainings before, this should be a refresher for you, just reinforcing what those different PHIs are. If this is your first time, welcome. I hope that you're able to be like, oh yes, I know this is PHI. So PHI stands for Protected Health Information. There are 18 different identifiers as what is considered PHI that we have to protect when we're providing services or with documentation and discussing things with people. Okay. So the first one is really common, right? Names. This includes initials. This includes also nicknames. So Gabby, my nickname is considered an identifier of how it identifies me. Where that person lives, that includes the street address. So Sunshine State, Sunshine Street, zip code, those are all identifiers. Any type of dates associated with the client. So the admission date, discharge date, date of death, date of birth, those are all considered PHI. Any type of phone numbers associated with the client, fax numbers, email address, that is also considered PHI. Social security numbers, medical records numbers. So this is our EHR number. Health plan number, this includes any type of insurance, health plan number that is associated with them, billing records numbers, health insurance numbers, any type of license. This includes state IDs, driver's license, passports, vehicle numbers. So if they have a car, the serial number, the VIN number, I'm sorry, the serial numbers and the VIN numbers that are associated with their vehicle. Devices identifying and serial numbers. So this could be like a pacemaker's, the number on that, or any type of medical equipment that has a number on it. And then we're going to get into a lot of the newer ones, the tech stuff. So any URLs or web universal resources that is linked to a client, an IP address, internet protocol, biometrics, which includes fingerprints, voice prints, any of type of print biometrics or anything like that. Facial recognitions, the full, just a picture, right? That is considered a PHI. Photos, and then any combination of thereof or any other identifiers that would be easy for people to identify who they are. And so when we are conversing with people, it is our duty. You'll see like there's some things that are not even pertaining to us, right? So like maybe vehicle number or something like that. So it's a federal regulation that everybody who has providing services that they are protecting client information. So for some engagement here, we're going to do some Q&A to continuously think about how we are protecting client information. So I have some prompts for you guys here. So our first question here, we'll quickly do some polls if you want to make sure that you're able to access it. I just launched the first one. Is it ethical or not to let me give you my password so you can get what you want, whether if that's into my system, to my computer, into my phone, I can give you my password. Ooh, that was quick, 100%. Say no. Thank you so much. So passwords are there for a reason, right? We shouldn't be saving or sharing our passwords with others. We shouldn't be giving out our username and password. Don't let anybody use it. It is your responsibility that everything that happens underneath your name is your responsibility. And so even doing something on behalf of somebody else, especially like in our EHR, it'll have your name. So we're going to come for you if you uploaded something or you documented something with your name. And regardless of like, oh, I did it for my coworker. Well, your name is identified on the system. So we're going to come and talk to you because this is your name, right? And not having other people do that. Please do not write it down and put it on your laptop, right? Or any type of device that has the password for you to do that. Please protect your stuff. So do not be like this guy here. Don't put on a sticky note and leave it on your monitor. All right, let's do question 2. Texting coworkers on which clients' ITPs we're splitting up on our caseloads. Can I text saying, Gabby, I need you to do John, Julie, and Sandy's ITPs. Thank you so much. No, we should not be doing that. All right, and then question 3. Oops, I am sharing. Stop sharing. Question 3. Taking pictures of clients on your personal phone and saving them to your personal devices. Is that allowed? You guys are quick with your responses. I appreciate that. A lot of you guys are responding right away. 75% of you guys are saying no. And then the 4th question here, we're going to get into all this here in a second. Using your personal email to send client information. Is this allowed? Using personal email to send client information? Perfect. 96% of you guys say no, that is not allowed. Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm glad to hear and see a lot of ethical people. So, utilizing your personal phone, I know a lot of people use their personal phone for work, which can be fine if you're utilizing it appropriately. Okay, so texting, it is so easy to text, right? And like we're living in a world where sometimes people don't even like to do phone calls, right? And it's just so easy just to text someone, but we need to be mindful of what we're texting. So if you're saying, hey, Gabby, can you call me about a client concern? That is fine. But if you're being like, hey, Gabby, I need you to call me, Johnny's over here freaking out. I'm using Johnny's name and I'm saying what's going on, right? And so I need to make sure that I'm being mindful of the information I'm texting. I can be very vague in my text messages. Hey, please give me a call or look at this email. Utilize Teams here at ViaQuest. The Microsoft Teams is an encrypted, safe way. And a lot of people like to download Teams on their phone, on their personal phone. And you can send messages, photos, everything via Teams and OneDrive, because that is an encrypted software that you can use for texting type purposes. Taking photos and recording, so taking pictures of labs or safety plans or anything like that, that should be done on the OneDrive app, not your personal phone. Most phones these days, especially if they are tech savvy, your internet in general, they're going to be saved to your personal cloud, which is a HIPAA violation, right? And so that in the cloud or wherever that may be, that is not encrypted. If you have the OneDrive app on your iPad, on your computer, on your phone or something like that, that is a way for you to take pictures on your personal drive, but in that OneDrive app, which is encrypted. Saving numbers. That's really something that people don't think about. Some people I saw, someone got in trouble for saving Gabrielle Bryson, client at this address. So that has my whole name, tell me where you live, right? And you lost your phone. And someone has your phone that has all this information on it. These people are calling you and I'm dropping your phone off at Joe Schmo's at this address that you put on your screensaver and identifies me, right? That's a very crazy example there, but it has happened, right? So we need to be mindful. We're not saving numbers in our personal phones. We're not giving out our personal phone numbers, right? Those are some boundary things that we need to be mindful of. All right, so let's go into our next poll question here. Number 5, responding to PH emails normally. And I know that sounds like a weird question, but someone emails you and has all this PHI information. Do you respond just as a normal email, or is there a special way for you to do that? Thank you. Put it in the chat on how you're supposed to respond. Thank you so much. Kind of gave up the answer there a little bit. All right, very good. So 95% is saying that no, we shouldn't be responding. That is a really common thing to do, right? It's so easy just to click respond and send. But if there is PHI in an email, especially when it's outside of ViaQuest, so for us as their company, we have to have the @viaquestinc.com after our email address for it to not be secured because it's in our domain. But if we are responding to an email from an outside provider, we either need to delete that thread with a PHI and make it very generic, or we need to put that secure in the beginning of the subject line of the email to make it encrypted for when we are responding back out. So I hope that makes sense. Please let me know if you have any questions or if I'm not making sense. Okay, so once again, any type of PHI or ePHI, which is electronic, protected health information, I'm just reinforcing that we need outside of ViaQuest must be encrypted. And to make it encrypted, as Marlon put in the chat there, you have to put secure. And it does have to have those semicolons at the end in order to make it encrypted. We can't email PHI or EPHI from your work email to your personal email even. And don't forward personal emails to your ViaQuest email. So not blurring those lines for personal and work. And don't use your ViaQuest email for personal reasons or personal accounts. All right, let's get into our next tech question here. Accepting social media posts about clients. I can comment or defend my client. So I see a post on social media, maybe the news has something about one of our clients. Can we defend our clients on social media? Very good. 96, 100%. Thank you, everybody. No, I know it's so easy to, and this has actually happened. Some of our clients may be on the news for something, right? Us going on there and defending our client on their posts and saying, "Oh no, I know Gabby. She didn't do that crime," or "I work with her at ViaQuest. That's not what happened." And unfortunately, we can't defend one way or another on social media. All right, so our next one here. Can you accept friend requests from a client, a coworker, a supervisor? Some may have a blanket statement for all of them. Some may say maybe for some, but can you or should you? Someone, if you don't mind unmuting yourself or putting in the chat, are you everybody no? Or are you only clients and no coworkers and maybe supervisors, or no supervisors, no clients, maybe coworkers? What are your thoughts? 90% of you guys said no in the poll. Anybody want to mute themselves?
I just had this discussion with Tiffany Moore. She was telling me, the clinical trainer, and Wes, she was telling me if like there's a power dynamic, like a supervisor to someone they're over, that you can't accept the friend request then, but you can with coworkers or maybe a supervisor that's outside of your region, like perhaps they're in hospice and you work in behavioral health.
All right. Any other thoughts?
Personally, I always like to keep work separated from personal life. So the only time I ever made exception for this particular question is if the person was already a friend before I was at that place of business.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, let's break it down. The one that should only have one answer. So for clients, should we be accepting friend requests? No, that one is a 100% no. Yes, thank you for the chat. That is clearly in everybody's ethics of not blurring those lines as social media platforms. I'll get to my next slide here. Is a personal item there, and blurring those lines between professional and personal boundaries can include social media accounts, right? So you're maybe posting things that you don't want your clients to know about yourself. So posting comments, reactions, friends accepting, having communications. I know, like, especially we're going to get into telehealth here in a second, but some people are utilizing Facebook or any type of social media to have conversations with their clients. And so you just want to be mindful of like who you're accepting, having those conversations with your clients about that. So our next poll here, which I accidentally closed it out. Regular consent for treatment is enough for telehealth. True or false? Yes or no? All right, so 80% of you guys that participated in the poll said no, which is the correct answer. There is regulations that require us to have additional items to our consent form, specifically for telehealth. And so the regulations have changed over the years. The most recent change has been in September, which they're currently still going through regulation updates. I'm not going to go a whole bunch of details into that because it may be different. I don't know. Even tomorrow, maybe today when we're speaking, I hope, I don't know, that they'll have more definite explanations of the regulations for telehealth. But the main thing that they're saying about for telehealth right now, that is for sure kind of been the stances in general, is that you have to have consent. You have to explain the risk of providing services or over telehealth, and that anytime throughout treatment that can be revoked in a sense. So you have to go back to in-person. The most current regulation says that you do not have to have your first session in person anymore. You can start sessions straight up with doing virtual, but also you and the client have to be in the same state. So you can't provide telehealth while the client's on vacation in Florida or something like that. So you and the client have to be in the state of Ohio in order for services to be provided. And then please keep in mind confidentiality and your surroundings. So are you in a place where your family member is not going to hear your confidential session with your client? Is the client in a place where the person that they may be talking about can't overhear right outside the door or in the room? So keep in mind of their surroundings, keep in mind of their surroundings, physically where they're at, if they have a trauma response or anxiety response. Do you know their physical location to do a wellness check? So these are all the things that you need to keep in mind ethically to ensure your client's safety within a telehealth appointment. Okay, so those are just quick. I mean, we could talk about telehealth. I think technology in general, I could probably do an hour worth of training on its own, but just as those are a couple quick things to think about when it comes to telehealth. All right, now we're gonna get into some fun, interesting things. New stuff. We're gonna get into AI. So the question that we have here, I can use AI platform to help me formulate a diagnosis. Yes or no? Getting into some new territory you may not be familiar with. Can I use AI to help me formulate a diagnosis? Okay, we have some mixed answers here so far. About 84% have participated. Let's maybe get a couple more people. What's your thoughts? All right, so we have 83% saying no, about 17% saying yes on this. Let's get into what the answers say and the regulations behind it. So there's a lot of regulations. All this is new. Every month, a new state is coming up with different proposals and legislations on it. So the federal government in July, the Senate voted that they're going to suspend federal oversight. So they were going to have some federal regulations regarding AI within the mental health field specifically. But they have designated that to each state to have their own enforcement regulations regarding AI laws, in the mental health realm and in general. And then on top of that, each organization must track and adapt to state laws of how they're going to maintain AI regulations on the services they're providing. So currently in the state of Ohio, we have this House bill that's called 525. It is just introduced to legislation about 15 days ago. And so it is not finalized yet, technically. They just proposed the regulation, so we're kind of stuck on limbo, and we're going to see what specifically state of Ohio says about what we can and can't do within AI as mental health professionals. Some of the main pointers from that House bill is available to see online, but just give you a little snippet from it. They are going to one of the main things that they're going to talk about enforcing is that you have informed written consent, specifically on utilizing AIs in session. So you have to get, right, it's clients' rights in general, so that they have to agree that you're going to utilize AI in your session. So that one I personally agree with that one, that clients need to be informed and know that you're utilizing AI in their session. And so you're going to need to get consent. And if that client doesn't consent, then you can't use AI for that specific session. And then if you're the organization, you have to have a business associated agreement, which is called a BAA, on our organization, and then that platform, AI platform, or whichever one that you use, you need to have a business associated agreement with that. It cannot be utilized for therapeutic decision makings, including diagnosing the directions or the course of treatment is supposed to go, the way that therapeutic communication is supposed to be going, and they cannot give recommendations for treatment. So those are specific things within the regulation that's saying, they're proposing, I should say, in the House Bill 525 for the state of Ohio, that they're proposing there. Let me see, let me look at the rest of my notes. Violation, so the agency and the clinician can be fined up to $10,000 for violating the rights of the clients and utilizing AI inappropriately. It can be used for administrative functions, and they're specifically saying maybe to help with scheduling or help with billing, can help with non-client and non-client PHI items. So those are some standards that they're being proposed in that bill. And they're doing some advocacy on what can be or can't be. There are some states that are saying not at all. So like Indiana is one of those, I'm sorry, not Indiana, Illinois. I always get those two states mixed up. One of those two states, they're not allowing any type of AI for mental health professionals. And there's a lot of states that are coming up with different regulations every month. They just came out last month, September, regarding their regulations. So those are things that we're going to continuously look at. Like I said in the beginning of our training here, you need to keep up with your regulations to know what is or is not allowed. All right, here's another AI question for you. Are answers given by AI is 100% accurate? So can I always trust the answers that is given to me? All right, 24, 25. Okay, 100% of you guys. Thank you so much. No, you cannot 100% trust AI and everything they give you, okay? I know that some people are starting to use AI. I think it's a great resource, but you can't just take it at its word. You have to review it before you give proposals or send out to somebody else. I personally have a love-hate, like I'm glad that it helped you, but this is not what I needed, right? It didn't help me. So you need to make sure that you're reviewing it before, because it's representing you too, right? So you're coming off as this is your potential ideas, and it may not even be 100% accurate. Maybe the first two paragraphs may look right, but then the rest of it kind of dwindles down and doesn't make sense. So you need to make sure that you're reviewing, if you're utilizing AI, that you are reviewing the whole item that you get from AI and utilizing the most important parts that gets your point across from the AI. So we're going to get into how you can and can't use AI here at work in general. Just to kind of reinforce those things. So you have to get written informed consent, and you have to notify the client. It is their right. And you can't take things at face value. Some do's and don'ts, like what can I use AI for? You can use it for like summarizing your email, right? Or helping you develop a training or translating non-sensitive information. You can't use it for PHI, like I said multiple times, decision-making confidential, writing up a performance coaching or any type of HR documentation. You cannot use that. You can't use any type of AI that way. Specifically for ViaQuest, we are working towards some type of approved AI items. So currently right now, nothing has been publicized for employees to be able to use AI within work. So just be mindful when you're working in an organization, you have to use their approved AI platform that does have that BAA. Protecting client information. But if you're using just random, ChatGPT for like, hey, what is the definition of ethics, right? That's general, broad educational items, and that's completely fine. But hey, ChatGPT, my client is exhibiting depression. She sleeps 3 days a week. She has this symptom. What diagnosis do you suggest? That is helping you make a clinical decision and making a formulating diagnosis that cannot be done there. So just giving you a couple examples there. All right, so we are wrapping up. We got about 5 minutes left. We're going to try to end with our game and refreshing us on how we are, how ethical we are with our games. So
I will. Okay. Let me get it on here. There it is. There we go. We're going to host this one live. Y'all hear that?
yeah, we can hear and see you.
Okay. Look at all everyone coming on.
Let's see if we can beat Michael this time.
What? Okay. Let's see, how many do we have? 30? $29 now. There we go. Hold on 1 second. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start. Sorry. A person overhears a coworker discussing a client diagnosis in a public elevator. What is the most ethical response? There's 13 answers, 14 answers. Inform staff immediately. Client information shouldn't be shared in public.
Oh, Michael's on it already.
Which of the following scenarios best demonstrate veracity and professional ethics? Being loyal, faithful, and truthful to clients, employees, and professionals. Kim, she's playing. Good job. You discover a coworker is using AI to complete their own documentation faster. What principle is being violated? Integrity. Kim, still on the board. A client asks for your personal phone number for emergencies. Ethically, you should decline and explain the proper communication channels. Kim is on a fire. A supervisor pressures you to alter documentation to make services appear compliant. What should you do first? Refuse and report to the next level supervisor. Kim. We know you know this, Kim. The ethical principle of fidelity refers to remaining loyal and keeping commitments to clients and colleagues. Good job. Okay. 3 more questions. A coworker begins sharing client-specific details as teaching examples in a class without consent. What should you do? Ask if they obtained written consent from clients. Wait.
Kim's on fire.
Good job, Kim.
I think my internet access improved from the first time.
When a professional's personal beliefs conflict with a client's lifestyle values, the most ethical approach is to refer.
You muted yourself, Kim.
Refer the client to another provider if bias cannot be avoided. Good job. So last one. A professional becomes emotionally attached to a client's family and is attending their events. This is an example of dual relationship and boundary violations. And that is it. Chelsea got.
Kim, you got bypassed.
It came through at the end.
That's okay. I'm happy for Chelsea.
That was one more. Which of the following best reflects anatomy and ethics? Allowing clients to make informed decisions about their own care. There's your podium. Kinsey, good job. Kim. Okay. Good job, everyone. All righty.
Great job, everybody. Well, thank you so much. I know we're a couple minutes over. We put it in the chat. We put it in the chat, the QR code. Please complete the evaluation on the ethics training. And then also please provide feedback of what trainings you would like to see in 2026. We are already planning the next year. So if there is a training that you would like to see in the new year, please put it on your evaluation form and we'll look into developing those type of trainings. Once you complete your evaluation, we'll work on getting your certificates out to you in the next couple of days. But I hope everybody has an amazing Friday. And happy Halloween for those who celebrate. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Do we fill out the eval, Gabby?
You sure can, yes.
Okay.